Good morning, boys and girls. So we have been speaking about plants and their seeds and how we can get them to grow, what they need, how they get dispersed, in other words, how they travel from one place to another, and all kinds of things about growing plants. So now what I've asked you to do today is to take a lined piece of paper, so like the paper in your handwriting book, so this kind of paper, and then I've asked you to draw a picture of a plant and then to neatly label it. Remember that this is a handwriting exercise, so I'm going to have a look that you use your lines nicely with a head, tummy and a tail, and you're going to draw the plant. And then the labels I've put on your home program as to how to label it, and that's what we're going to look at now, what parts. So this is a picture of a flowering plant. So the seed has grown and then it got roots and then a little stem started, leaves, and then eventually the flower and the seeds in the middle that get spread by animals' fur sticking to it, or the wind blows the seeds out. So the first label would be your flower, but we're going to do better than that, and we're not going to label that the flower. We're going to say that those are the petals of the flower. The colored parts of the flower are called the petals. Then the seeds in the middle. The stem is what takes all the water and the vitamins from the soil up into the plant to make it healthy. And it keeps the plant upright, that it doesn't fall down like our skeleton. Keeps us upright, that we're not a blob of jelly, remember that? That keeps the plant upright. And then the leaf, or the leaves, and then the root. And this isn't just one root, it's coming from the stem and it's got a whole lot of roots, but it's coming from one plant. And later on, in a higher grade, you will learn about the different roots of plants. But what we're looking at today is how to label. So I'm going to show you my picture that I've drawn on. I'm going to press on this book on a blank piece of paper with lines on it, and I've done my head, tummy and tail, and I've put parts of a plant, and you'll need to write your name on it, either on the back or at the top or somewhere, especially if you're going to hand it in to me. So now, the reason why we label like this is to show you neat ways of labeling, especially when we look at pictures that have a lot of labels. So when you get into high school and you study science or biology, and let's say you have to draw a picture or a diagram, we call it a diagram, of the human heart, and maybe it's got about 60 labels. If you put the labels all over it like this, eventually it will be a big jumble and you won't be able to see what is what. So when we label, we use a ruler and we draw a line. So I've done my picture or my diagram of the plant. I copied the one that we've just looked at in this book, and I made it smaller, and I've used my whole page. So there's the heading, there's the picture, and here the roots right at the bottom. But I've drawn it to the side so that I can fit my labels on the side here. So I'm going to draw a straight line going down, right? And then I need to put a straight line to the parts that I need to label. So that will be the petals. Those will be the seeds. The stem. The leaves. And the roots. So now I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 labels. They're pointing to the correct thing, and I'm able to see them neatly. So even if you've got a whole lot of labels, if you do it like this and you've got them in order and it's pointing neatly to the thing that you're naming or labeling, then even if you do have a human heart that you have to label with 65 labels, it won't be a jumble if you do it like this. Right, so I'm just going to do the first one. So that will be petals, and remember that that has a tail, petals. So that would be head, tummy, tail. And I'm going to put seeds over here, so that doesn't bump into that one. Right. And then I'll carry on going. So that is stem. So just be careful when you do your lines to your plant that you don't put them too close together. Like I put that one a little bit close, but maybe stem and leaves mustn't be too close, that you can do your writing properly with head, tummies and tails. So I'm going to do leaves down here, or leaf. And then lastly, I'm going to do the roots. Right, so let's see if you can label the plant correctly, but most importantly that you can use your lines properly. You can draw a line with a ruler and your label lines, and then you can do your labels correctly of parts of a plant. Right, enjoy this activity and you can make it look beautiful. I unfortunately didn't have crayons because I'm doing this at home, and I didn't bring crayons from school to do this, so I haven't coloured it in, but you saw the one in the book that's beautifully coloured in. You can make this a real spring flower. You can maybe use 2 colours to do the petals beautifully, and the orange or yellow little seeds in there, and maybe a dark and a light green leaves, and the soil and the roots brown. So you can colour it in beautifully, but I unfortunately didn't have crayons to do that. But I look forward to seeing your neatly labelled plants.